Hello everybody! So you might have seen the news recently that Lisa is actually no longer the owner of So Over It. That role has been passed on to me, which I'm very, very excited about. If you haven't heard that news and you want to learn more about that, there is another video we've done on that, and we'll pop the link below. So head there if you want to get all that goss.
Catch up.
Catch up, come here, because we just wanted to do a quick video really, or however, it might be longer.
Might be longer.
I know, I'll be quick with the list of questions we've got, about the team as it is, so you can get to know who is a part of So Over It now and get to know us a little bit more. So we've got a list of questions that we're going to be asking each other, a bit about our jobs, a bit about our sewing, a bit about some random things that we that might be a bit silly but might make you laugh. So yeah, we're going to do Meet the Team. Woo! So the first question is, what do you do at So Over It? The biggie. Should we start?
Oh, should we do our names?
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be really fun. Oh, we'll do that as part of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Really good.
Just the basics. So, I'm Alma, and I deal with all things marketing and social media at So Over It. So anything you read, so all the emails that we send out, that's me writing them, all the captions, all the pictures that go on Instagram and Facebook, all the socials, that's a lot of hours of me writing and picking the pictures. And I also do, when we do photo shoots, I kind of run the madness that is a photo shoot. Just people who have modelled for us will know I'm the crazy one shouting out weird things to do, like pretend you're holding something. When we film reels, it's like, oh, it's the best day of your life, you're strolling down the street. That's a very fun part. But yeah, all things that go out to you basically. Once we've created a product, I kind of come up with the what to say about it. Sometimes it's very easy, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, because you're like, how do you describe this without like a whole paragraph on the sleeve or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were trying to do this morning. It's hard.
But yeah, Alma, marketing.
I'm Jemima, and I basically run the online shop. So whenever we get any fabrics in, I get those up online. I put together kits and put those online. I also do quite a lot of, along with Rosie and Chloe, email customer service. So if you've ever emailed us, we've probably spoken. We call them shows. We do 2 shows a year: the knitting and stitching show, which is very soon, and the Stitch Festival, and I sort of am involved in the organisation for that. I do some wholesale, I do some sample sewing for photo shoots. Basically anything operational I tend to be involved
operational.
in. Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Chloe, and so I'm the assistant for the online shop. So I only come in about 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm the one that is, once you've ordered from our shop, I'm the one that's probably printing the pattern, folding it, getting your fabric, packing it and sending it to you. And then I will answer emails from, if you emailed about your order, it will be me or Jemima answering those emails. So yeah, that's me. And also when we have the shows, I also will come be at the show, so you can come and chat to me.
We're all at the shows.
We're all at the shows.
Yeah.
And so yeah, kind of, just help get all of the products ready, all the physical things that you might order from us.
Well, I'm Rosie, and I was sat listening to all of your stuff, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I haven't thought of what I'm going to say. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I think the biggest part of my role is the patterns. So I look after all the pattern production. I'm responsible for coming up with most of the ideas for the patterns, and also for the content on Stitch School and filming and editing things on Stitch School. Like Jemima, I'm quite operational. I'm more on that side of things behind the scenes, and also of course deal with things like the finances and looking at the bills and the rent and all of those fun things that come on that side of the business. And I also answer customer emails, and I also help with the shows. I think there's a lot more heavy lifting, physically heavy lifting, than people realise.
We're all really strong.
Yeah, I know that I am.
When the band
struggle.
go, oh, do you want some help? We're like, no.
No,
you've done it all.
So a little bit of everything really, and I think that's part of like small business life is that
Yes.
although we've all said what we do, I think
Yeah.
we all actually do
Dive
bits of
into
other people's
things.
jobs as well. And like Jemima, because you've been doing more on the pattern side recently,
Yeah.
and things like that, and it's a nice way of learning new skills. I
Yes.
think. I think that's one of the things I've learned here is all that I do now. I did a little bit of when I started,
Yeah.
but I've learned so much just by helping other people, or when someone's on holiday, doing a bit of their job,
Covering.
and it's it's a nice place to sort of share skills.
And it's a good way of really knowing what's going on, isn't it? When you suddenly do a little bit of something, you're like, oh, okay, yes, so we're always kind of on top of what's happening, what's coming, what's just happened.
That's it. And I think it's really interesting when you do someone else's job for a bit and you learn about like what their workload.
Yes.
Yeah.
You might think that like, oh, I'll just post something on Instagram, like Alma does it all the time, and then you're like, oh my goodness, she has to do all of this all the time. And the same with
very
doing orders and
annoying.
stuff like that. It's definitely small business life is that you're very appreciative of just how hard everyone's working.
Yes. And also how many technical things are involved. I think like with the website sometimes there's things that you're like, oh, I didn't know this was so like not straightforward. Same with Instagram, which will do something perfectly well for 1 week and the next week is like, no, that button, you can't have it anymore. Great, thank you. Surprise! Just made your job harder. So yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yes, definitely. Always on the technical side.
Always. That's the annoying thing.
Yeah, the
you can
things
do
you can't
your
control.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
So, to summarise, could you describe your job in 3 words? What are the 3 main words that come to mind with your role? I think mine would be organising, ideas, and finances.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, it's a job.
That's very good, actually. That's right.
It's very well rounded, I'd say.
Mine would be like packing, orders, printing, cutting for fabric.
Yes.
Cutting
Very
fabric.
practical.
Very hands-on.
Yeah.
Mine would be customers, patterns, website.
Oh, yes.
Website. Again, peaks and troughs.
I think mine is words,
Ooh.
images, more words, words, images, and I want to say something like excitement or like cheerleading,
Energy.
like energy is good.
That's really good.
Yeah, like it has to be like
Yeah, definitely.
but definitely words and images are like what I deal with every day.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the next question on our list is what is the favourite part of your job? And maybe we should be honest and say what is our least favourite as well. Because I think we all quite like our job.
Definitely, but
But there's obviously bits that, even though we have this lovely company and we get to do really nice things, there's obviously bits that aren't as great as there are in any job.
Definitely. But
So-
the good outweighs the bad.
Yes,
which is what you
exactly.
want. Do you want to start? with
Okay, yeah. I think my favourite is seeing the patterns come to life from like a really awful back of a envelope sketch with notes all over it, seeing it go through like the pattern drafter, the toile, maybe a toile that's not right, and then one that is right, and then finally when you get to the photo shoot, and that's the first glimpse you have of someone that hasn't seen the pattern trying it on.
Yes,
so when
yes,
our
yes.
models try it on and you get their genuine excitement and things, them going, oh, and I like this bit, and oh, I like how that's done there, and this, that and the other, or they really like how it makes them feel. I think that is just, that's the dream. That's really, really lovely. And I think my least favourite part is stuff like what's happened this morning is printers breaking.
But you can't take printers.
It's like, But it's going to be all around it. It's going to be
It's
stuff.
having responsibility
breaking.
for it ultimately.
Yeah.
It's Jemima saying, "Rosie, the printer's breaking." I'm leaving it with
Your
you.
least favourite.
Yeah. Or the website as well. The technical things
yeah.
where you can't fix it yourself. I love fixing stuff myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
And I have admitted defeat this morning, and I've got to ring the printer people this afternoon.
Very frustrating. Favourite? Start on a high.
I don't know. I genuinely like cutting the fabrics. I like touching the fabrics.
It's really
There's something
nice.
really nice about
Yeah.
it. And like when we get new fabrics in,
Yes.
and you get the
Love.
big sort of bolt, and you're just like, and it's,
Yeah.
it's really tactile. I just like that. Least favourite.
Ooh.
I don't know.
It's just all good.
It's all
It's all
good.
brilliant. How about carrying the post downstairs at the end of the day? That
Yeah.
would be great.
I don't mind.
You don't
that too
mind
much.
it, huh?
Do you know what? I always I hate taking the bins out. Sorry, Giovanna.
Oh, there you go.
Because you got to use the big. I've got this big sort of thing on wheels, and I'm just
Can't
really
take 'em.
terrible at it. And I just leave.
Yeah, and then
that.
you got to go outside, and if it's
Yeah.
raining.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a wind tunnel down
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Fair
that.
enough. Yeah. My favourite part is the total variety that I have. So like literally depending on what's on. Like this week we're preparing for the show, so it's loads of show stuff. But last week we were preparing for a photo shoot, so it was loads of
Yeah.
sewing. And like if we've got a new release, it's like putting together kits and thinking about fabrics.
Yeah.
And like if it's a bit of a quiet week, then I'll go through and like update or layer some of our patterns and a bit of administration with that. So just like I really like that it's
That's
always
so
really
true.
different.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
And my least favourite part, I'm going to agree with Rosie, is the printers, and I want to talk a bit quietly because I don't want them to hear me, because they know that I'm scared of them. But
We've got one that's working on a I don't want to offend
I
it.
know. It's obviously on our minds at the moment, but yeah, it's anything just breaking is annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, for the shows, what we do is we print out all our PDFs.
Yes.
To sell them, so it's a PDF, but you buy it printed, which is why the printers are on our
So
mind.
we end up
because it's that.
printing about 500
Hundreds.
patterns,
Yeah.
and each pattern obviously has like at least 2 or 3 or 4 sheets.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, and
And didn't you say like those printers usually are used for like one architectural plan a
Yes.
week?
One of the printer men came in to fix something, and he said we are the top
print.
of the list of all the people that have those printers for the amount we print. Yeah, he was
In
like,
the country, wasn't it?
Yeah,
In the country.
by some margin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they get tired.
Yeah,
they
I
work,
think so.
they work really hard. They're really
Yeah.
good.
Thank you for
Thank you for
We
We love
appreciate you.
Didn't we name them recently?
Yeah.
So Coco and Elsa.
Oh yes.
Maybe
was
they
the-
don't like the name.
Coco Chanel and
Yeah.
Elsa Schiaparelli, so they're
Ah,
designers. Yeah. Right, favourite thing. There are a lot of things that I love, but one thing that you made me think of just now is at the photo shoots, because we work with people who are not necessarily models. Sometimes we do, but most of the people we use are sewers from the community, and to see the moment where it clicks. And like at the beginning, everyone's a little bit shy, and there I am throwing everything, and they're like, "Hold this cushion, put your hand back, do this," and suddenly it's like confidence kicks in, and they transform, and they look so gorgeous, and that's a really, really great feeling. Like
It's
I
lovely,
love that.
isn't it? It's just because when we have our photo shoot, we have like a laptop set up where the photos instantly pop up. So after each little section of photos, all the models, and we can go and like look and
Have a
scroll
look.
through, and it's when they see
Themselves.
in a one that they really like.
Yes.
And I get it as well.
I
like,
get it, same.
the first one you see that you really
Yeah.
like of yourself, you're like, yeah, I've got this.
Yeah.
And it
It
sort of
just
gives you that
makes it so
confidence. It's
lovely.
really lovely.
And it's like, yeah, the clothes that we're making, and also I think the, we make a fun, chill environment, like
Yeah.
something that could be scary. It's
Oh, yeah.
actually like a really
Yes.
nice day out.
Yeah.
And so that's something I love, amongst many other things. Something I do not enjoy is I have to do the social media reports. So look at all the numbers every month from like what happened on Instagram, what happened on Pinterest, what happened on YouTube. and it's so boring. I understand that there's a need for it, completely get it, but because everything else is quite creative for me, that is literally just like, look at the number, write the number, check how much higher or lower, hopefully higher it was than last month, and it's just time consuming and a little bit dull. And I used to work in accounts, so I think it gives me
got PTSD.
it gives me PTSD. I think that's exactly what it is, because it's so similar to what I used to do, and I'm like, but I don't anymore. So yeah, I think that's the root of the problem there. They get done.
That leads quite nicely into, maybe you want to carry on with that, is like, what did you do before working
yes.
at So Over It? Because I think we've got quite a
So
diverse
different,
background.
everyone. Yeah. So I've done many jobs, like from washing dishes to ushering at a theatre. The one I had for the longest was just in an office. It was a really fun office. It was a comedy agency, so agents for comedians, very big comedians. It was a very exciting environment, but what I did was just the books and paying people, and it was so boring. And the reason I did that was because they were quite flexible with me going to auditions, because I used to act and perform. That's what I grew up wanting to be, basically. I trained, and I kept that job because it was like an easy one to keep me going, but it was boring, so boring, and not me in any way. And then the acting thing didn't happen, and at the same time I discovered sewing, and I kind of one day woke up and I was like, I want to work in this. I don't know how, I don't know exactly what, like I didn't want to make clothes, but because I wasn't good enough or anything, but I just thought I want my actual job day to day to be something to do with this. And then a few years later, ta-da! So very happy to be here.
I was working on reception in a theatre and like events space, which was it was nice actually. It was a small team, kind of like what we have here, a little bit bigger. So I quite liked that, and it was fine. I just didn't love it. And I can see that the next question is, what is your sewing story? So I'm not going to skip ahead too much. But essentially, while I was there, I learnt to sew, and then this job came up, and actually it was Chloe's job that I started in. I was packing orders, and that was 2.5 years ago.
You guys started to similar
Very
time.
Really, like same month, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, babies. So many babies.
Before I was working here, I was a secondary school drama teacher. I know, a bit random there. And then so I was doing that for a number of years, and then I had my children, and then took a bit of a career break, and then I was looking to get back into work, but I didn't want to go into teaching because the hours weren't going to work for me, and I kind of did something sort of similar, that I got a piece of paper and I just wrote down what sort of things would I like to do.
Nice.
And things that I enjoyed, and like hobbies, things, and I knew I'd wanted something that was flexible, and because I'd already been a customer of So Over It, I was on the mailing list, and I just sort of, because sewing was on there as one of my hobbies, I just went onto our website and just went onto jobs, and it was there.
Happened to be one.
Wasn't it like the day it was
And it was the day that it was closing, and I literally was at home with my youngest, and I was like, I need to get a CV together quick. And I wrote it, and I think I obviously must have, it would have gone to you.
Yeah.
And I wrote some waffly email by, I just really think I'll be really good, I could do this. Because also my CV was like, there was no sewing on
That's
it.
exactly the same with me. It was like, I know it doesn't look like it, but I promise I'll be really good.
I promised a lot. I was like, I haven't done many of the things, but I'll learn. And I was working in a fabric shop before. I did a drink.
At least
I had
something.
something.
So I spent this quick half an hour putting the CV together, and then I was like, none of this
Nothing.
is relevant. But it was, and now I see it, there was some drama thing.
Yeah, that's
going
true.
on.
Yeah.
There's some
That's so funny.
yeah.
I've never thought of that.
I don't know. Well, our main topic of conversation usually is musicals,
Yes.
and musicals and things like that.
And the soundtrack is as
and
well.
soundtracks on the speaker. Yeah.
How funny.
I know. So there is like a thread, but not a
thread.
subject.
Well, I did drama A level.
There we go.
I did, but I ditched it and I went a different route because I went into academia at the
Yes.
start of my career as such, and studied geography and then worked in geography for a bit, and I still love it. I love mountains, glaciers, anything big geography, anything like archaeology as well, mammals,
Nice.
ancient humans, things like that. Love it. But at one point it turned out that I didn't love it enough to do it as a job, and so I stopped working in that area and started looking for jobs I still loved education, so in like museum education, outreach, like that sort of sphere. So I like volunteered at a few museums. Incidentally, the museum in my hometown is a silk museum, so that was perfect little crossover. And yeah, just the job at So Over It popped up.
So the job was wholesale.
So wholesale coordinator, I think, and Islington manager type role. And classes, it was wholesale class in Islington.
Oh, so the classes were there at the start.
When it was
for
in
you.
person classes,
So you were like managing the classes?
Yeah, so like booking in the teachers and
That's
getting
cool.
all the stuff ready so that when customers arrived you had like all the stuff laid out and making sure things patterned. We didn't have printers there, so we had to order those all in time and stuff like that. And obviously it'll be 8 years in January.
Wow.
So things change.
Yeah.
Change.
If you like your job, stick with it.
Exactly.
Like the company.
It's only one way to do it. But yeah, so it's very different. But my sewing story, if I'll go on to that one actually, was because when I was still doing geography, I was partway through a PhD, which I didn't finish because I didn't enjoy it, and it impacted my mental health quite a lot. I knew I wasn't happy there. I knew I didn't want to do it for a job in the future, so I cut my losses and said, no, I'm not going to do this. But what I did do whilst I was trying to do that as a kind of coping mechanism, I guess, was to go, hey, why don't you have a really nice hobby that you can do on the weekends and in the evenings to just give yourself that break?
Yes.
It's like a really stressful environment. And I started sewing. And I sewed as a kid,
Yeah.
so it was something I knew I liked, and I made a quilt. And then I dragged my sister to the Festival of Quilts show.
did you?
in Birmingham.
Wow.
And whilst we were there, she said to me, if you can make a quilt, you can make a dress. Just make a dress.
Sister.
Just make dresses.
Yeah.
What
do
an
that.
important sentence in your life.
So thanks, Liz. And yeah, I think like the next week I bought like a simplicity pattern, went to the local haberdashery. I think it helped that I was in a small town. I was in Aberystwyth, and there's a really nice haberdashery there. And the lady that worked there was really supportive and helpful, and that made such a difference, being able to go in and go, I've got this pattern.
Can you
What
help?
do I do? Bought some super cheap fabric. I didn't wear it much, but I made it.
You made
Yeah.
a dress.
Yeah.
And it looked like a dress.
Amazing.
It looked like something from, maybe not something from the shops, but
No, but
Do you
from
still
a
have it?
distance. I don't still have it. I've got a picture of it, and I've got the memories.
That's so cool.
But yeah, then I never looked back. So yeah, it's like in terms of learning how to sew, I'm probably like 90% self-taught. I think I feel lucky in that it's something that I have been able to just pick up. It's a skill. I feel like it's a skill that's within me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we all have different ones of those. And I've learned a lot as well observing all the classes.
Yeah.
When I used to work on a Saturday, all the classes would be running and you could
Julie
just
and
pop
stuff
your
like
head
that.
in. Well, yeah, and I'd bring stuff in and be like,
Julie,
what do I
how-
do with it? Like, how do I fit this? So
Which is what I do too.
Yeah.
now.
Aw,
That's
so
what it's
cool. I love that.
So yeah, I would say, I don't know if there's any life lessons, but just run with your hobbies if you enjoy them,
Yeah.
because something exciting might happen.
Yeah, exactly.
My sewing journey.
Yeah.
So I did textiles at school, which I really enjoyed, but then I didn't continue, and I went down a sort of drama path. But I've always like made stuff. I don't know. I just think like me and my family as well. We're just these people that you just think like, oh, I could do that. We're just those people that have
So
that
nice.
kind of,
Yeah, I know.
whether we can or
nice.
not. I mean,
You're
I
very
don't know.
crafty, like your mum and
Yeah.
everyone is very crafty.
Yeah, so within my family, everyone's sewed and like made stuff and like so knitting and crochet and sewing
nice.
and I got into glass painting for a little bit when I was a kid.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I was also from like a small like little town, so I was from Whitstable, and there was like this. They had a sewing shop and like a little crafty shop, and like yeah, when there's not a lot to do at the weekends, you walk into town, go into these shops, start a craft. Just
Sounds ideal.
but yeah, and then I kind of just did lots of little things, and then when did I start sewing clothes? I think it was it was really my first proper like adult size clothes. It was a birthday gift from my husband, which was a sew over it class.
Oh yes.
No way.
Oh, a physical class.
Physical
Yeah.
class. And it was the circle skirt and
Which you still have, because we've seen it.
shift. And they used to do it like a weekend
Yeah,
class.
the dressmaking weekend.
Yes, which was the
You're probably there
shop.
together.
You were probably there. I was probably there.
So cool.
And yeah, so I did that, and then
That's brilliant. And you do other crafts as well, still like knitting and crochet. and...
knitting and crochet, done some embroidery, doing some quilting at the moment.
Ah.
Just
Just everything.
You're
I
that
love
sort of
it.
person.
yeah, I think it's like doing something with your hands,
so
and I find
much
it quite meditative as well.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of my other than dressmaking, which is something that I like to be fully absorbed in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like all the other sort of crafts, are things that I'll do, like sitting watching telly,
Yes.
or like little pick up things. And yeah, I find it really soothing and it's nice. I know.
I do not find sewing.
Do you not?
And I don't understand that. No. I find it like I enjoy it for other ways, but I've never found it soothing. Never.
It depends
Yeah.
on the project, maybe.
No, I never.
No.
I enjoy it. Like I enjoy a challenge, or I enjoy like
Yes.
the mental whatever that it takes to do it. But I've never felt relaxed by sewing. Yeah, that's me.
That's your sewing journey then.
So it's a bit of a long story, sorry, but so I moved to London because my partner, he'd been offered a job in London, and I actually grew up in London, but I'd been away for quite a few years. So we moved down, and I was like, don't have any friends here.
Yeah.
Don't know anybody. So I thought, right, I'll just go to loads of different stuff to try and meet people, and I went to all sorts of stuff. I went to like a Spanish book club and like all these extra classes, but one of the things that I went to was a introduction to sewing class in Waterloo, and I just loved it. I had like the best day ever. Really enjoyed it. I've never gone to something and enjoyed it that much before.
So what was it like, showing you how to use a machine?
Yeah, it was like total basics, how to make a machine. I think we made like a pencil case and a tote bag.
And
both
you've
of those,
never
actually.
used a machine before?
Never.
That's
No, I
so
never.
cool.
Not at school. Not my mum didn't have one at home. I'd never thought about sewing ever. Nothing. Never. Just it was totally random. I don't know how I ended up there, but I did.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that was in like October, and then for Christmas I asked for a sewing machine, you know, like the John Lewis, like the basic one, and I got it, which was amazing, but I didn't touch it at all. I felt really guilty about it for a few months. But this was Christmas 2019, so March 2020, we all know what happened. Obviously the pandemic hit, and I was furloughed from my job at the theatre for 6 months. I had nothing at all for 6 months, but my partner was still working from home, and I was like, right, time to get the sewing machine on.
I love that. I definitely would have just sat and watched telly. We're going to do something.
I probably did that for like the first week, and and every day I just sat down with him. Like we were in this teeny flat. It was like, you know, attic conversion thing, and he would sit at one end of the table and do his work, and I would sit there from 9 till 5 as if it was my job, like learning how to sew, like watching every YouTube video. But I had like no resources because it's the middle of COVID. I didn't have any fabric, I didn't have any patterns, no one was really shipping there at that time. So I invented this crazy method of like tracing A4 patterns from my laptop screen.
Yes.
I've done that
Have you done
before.
that?
Yeah. Sometimes if you lose like a facing, you can just,
Yeah.
you haven't got your printer.
That's so
So it took
clever.
out, but you know, I had time.
You had hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the mum of a friend of mine, who I've never met this lady, but she heard that I started sewing and she sews, and she sent me out of the blue 2 enormous boxes of fabric that she didn't need anymore. It was honestly one of the kindest things anyone's ever done for me. I was so touched, and it was amazing because then I just had all this fabric that was like I hadn't bought, so it was like I could just practice on it.
Yes.
And I could just
It
practice,
doesn't
practice,
matter if
practice.
it goes wrong.
Yeah, because, you know, fabric can be expensive,
Yes.
and I was nervous about that and whatever. So I just had like, it was amazing.
That's
I just loved it.
beautiful.
And then I went back to work in September, and I was like, oh,
No.
I've got this new thing now, and then
I'm kind of a sewing person now,
actually, I
actually.
sew now.
Sorry,
No.
theatre world.
It wasn't like that, but like, you know, I just felt like I wanted to be doing that all the time, as I had been doing it all the time.
Yeah,
It was my
of
job.
course.
And then about 6 months later, this job came up.
That's so cool.
But I was on Stitch School. That was like a massive
Oh,
resource for me
yeah.
learning to sew, and like all of the YouTube sew-alongs that Lisa did during
Yeah.
COVID and stuff. I was there.
You were there with
I was
them.
watching.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
how I
so
learned to
cool.
sew.
I love that. That's very cool. I admire the
The dedication.
dedication
there.
and diligence of like getting up and doing it.
I'm a
Love
creature
that.
of habit.
That's good though. That's so good for your head and like
Yeah.
so you felt like
Yeah.
something was keeping you going and
A purpose.
with purpose. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. I'm completely self-taught. I started for my 30th birthday. My husband got me a sewing machine. I'd been saying, "Ooh, wouldn't it be cool to learn to sew?" Like for ages, mainly watching. I've said this before on a video or two, but RuPaul's Drag Race. My favourite thing in the world is the sewing challenge. And so then I also discovered the sewing bee, but so I was watching these shows going, oh God, that looks so much fun. Can you imagine, like, if I could do that? Can you imagine? Because I've always loved dressing dressing in a different way from what's available in shops. So I've always loved shopping vintage and things like that, just so I could have something that was more unique. And I just kept looking at these things going, oh God, I could make anything if I knew how to sew. And Pat listened very carefully, and for my 30th he got me this machine. I wasn't fishing for it, but he just got me the machine. I cried when he gave it to me, like full tears. I was like, you've given me the gift of potential. There may have been a lot of bubbly involved by that point, but it was just, I was completely shocked, and it was like the basic, not John Lewis, but the basic brother from John Lewis sewing machine that did everything you needed to do. Honestly,
Yeah,
like if
that's
you
what
want
you
to
need.
learn, get a basic machine. You don't need more than that.
No.
I think that it's almost a waste to get anything more elaborate, because then you won't know how to make it do the things that
Yeah,
it can
they're
do
more
for
Yeah,
ages.
that's really good.
So you might as well start with the basics. Anyway, I'd never touched a sewing machine in my life, ever. In Italy, they didn't teach me. I don't know if they do now, but I grew up in Italy and they didn't do anything textiles, nothing like practical, which is not so good. And so I just watched, the machine came with a DVD that showed you how to thread it.
Oh, wow.
It's old school. How to thread it, how to do like basic stitches. And then I was like, okay, now what do? Pat got me some, 3 zips, a little bit of fabric and some needles and thread. So I looked at what I had and I went on YouTube. Everything I need to learn how to do, I look on YouTube. I have been like that since YouTube was a thing. And so I just thought, surely there'll be someone teaching me how to do something with the sewing machine on YouTube, and I discovered the world. So the first thing I made was like a little pouch, and I felt so proud of myself. And basically I did not stop from that moment. It took me a few months to open the sewing machine, but once I used it once,
Really?
I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. And my grandma, she's still alive, but she does not craft anymore. But she, apparently before I knew her, so when she was much younger, she used to dressmake all the time.
Yeah.
And with her sisters, apparently they got Burda patterns shipped to Costa Rica, where my family is from. And apparently it was the most exciting day when all these the magazines, the Burda magazines came in, and one sister traced it, one sister cut it, and so apparently that was a big part of my grandma's life. I just never knew it. Since I've been around, she was an embroiderer, an incredible embroiderer. But so I feel like he said that's a skill that's in me. She definitely gave me that, even though we never shared it. which makes me very happy. And yeah, but I completely got obsessed. I am quite an obsessive person, I think, when it comes to things. Like if I like a show, I watch it all in one sitting.
Yeah, you're very like all or nothing.
All or
aren't
nothing.
you? Yeah.
And so with sewing, I was like, I like it. I am never doing anything else again.
I am sorry.
I am sewing. And it was, in a way, it came at the right time because all my life I was preparing to do performance, and all my life, money and time had been going towards that, and that wasn't happening, and that was making me very sad because when you put all your energy towards one goal and it's not coming to fruition, I suddenly fell in love with something else which I did not think was possible. Like I was acting, and suddenly, oh, sewing, okay, there is something else in the world for me. And I just completely fell in love with it. Yeah, and it honestly, like mental health wise, again, I was very low, and sewing kind of made me go like, okay, there's something else out there, and it gives me the same excitement and pride and satisfaction. And it is something you can do by yourself. You can't act if nobody lets you act, unfortunately. I can make clothes to my heart's content, and it's fine. So yeah, I think that's why when we did the big sew-off, the charity of choice was mine, because there is a lot of connection. It's an obvious thing in many ways. But yeah, that's the long sewing story.
I hope you're still with us.
Yeah. Maybe we'll split this in chapters. I don't know.
We might have to. I feel like the next set of questions, these are kind of the last questions we've got, are a little bit more quick fire.
Good.
So maybe we go wham, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So, favourite sew over it pattern?
Yes. That's really hard.
I haven't thought about that.
But also we should say what we're wearing. I just realised we haven't mentioned it.
Okay, what we're wearing first.
Okay.
Viola blouse as a little cute jacket. My new favourite. Love it.
I've had a mind blank. Heidi. It's my Heidi dress.
Beautiful. In our fabric.
In our fabric, yeah. This is the
Esmeralda Twilight.
Sorry. It's before lunch, I've really slowed down. Right, yeah, in the Esmeralda Twilight. We did for the teammates.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's almost cool enough to start wearing it again. But
It's still hot.
I know, it's really
I don't
hot.
understand why.
This is my Nomi dress, which again, it's almost time to start when I'm starting to
It's
feel a
touch
bit
and go.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my favourite autumn dress.
Beautiful. And I'm wearing a Marilyn blouse from our Vintage Dreaming ebook, which I love.
Yeah.
I put it on, I
cute.
kind of dug it out and thought, I need more of these. I love them. Favourite sew pattern? I have many, but I'm gonna say the Estelle dress because that's the one I've made the most.
Yeah.
How
I
many do you
think
have?
3, and it won't be the last. Although the
the
pattern
next
that's
one.
coming out next,
yeah,
which
that's
got
if you're
a touch of
coming to the
Estelle.
show, if you're coming to the knitting and stitching show, you'll get to buy it
I
before
feel like
it's
they're-
out. And I feel like it might surpass Estelle. I don't know.
I feel
don't
like
know.
they're sisters.
They're
you know?
They are
sisters,
sisters,
for
for
sure. Like they
yeah.
feel similar wearing them.
Yeah.
They have the same
Same sort of
little
vibe.
something.
Yeah. Something.
And it's quick to make, which I love. I think that influences a favourite pattern for me. I like an involved make, but it's just so nice when you're like start to finish in one session.
Yeah, that is
I
good.
love
It's
that.
satisfying.
Sometimes you need that. So yeah, I'm gonna say Estelle, but it's not a definite. It's like at the moment
One of-
I've
yes,
made it the
today
most
it's
and I love it.
Ask again next week.
Exactly.
My favourite pattern is the Amelia jacket.
Yes.
Oh,
I love
cute.
it. It's so achievable to make, but it looks like the finish is lovely. The lining just makes it look lovely. I think a little bit of hand sewing, the zip. I just love everything about it. I like the fit. I like that it doesn't take much fabric,
Yes.
so you can get like really nice fabric because you
And
use
you
it.
used the
It's
lovely
like a
wool,
metre and a
didn't
half or
you?
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too much.
Nice.
I'm going to go with the Ella blouse. I just really like that one because I've made it a couple of times and I always feel a bit fancy in it, but also you can kind of dress it down and it's a layering one.
Yes.
I'm going to go with that one.
Beautiful.
I think I'm going to go with the most useful and therefore my favourite, which is the Peggy trousers
Yes.
that I've got 3 pairs of. and I'm planning another one, I
love
think.
Love
Because
them.
there's lots of patterns that I love for the excitement of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But actually, Peggy's is
You wear all the
I
time.
wear all the time.
I've
I wear
got
multiple
3 and I
days
wear
a
them
week,
all the
just
time. Yeah.
constantly on rotation.
They go with
So-
everything. Every one of our tops goes
Yeah, they
with
do.
the
And then I'm
Peggy.
like, I need to have another
That would be
Marilyn.
nice.
Yeah,
You would suit
would be
that.
really nice.
Definitely.
Peggy's.
Nice,
Yeah. So. What is your favourite season to sew for?
Oh,
Someone.
Summer.
summer.
Spring.
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 Ah,
Probably autumn or spring.
really?
When it's a little bit cooler. I like spring because
Yeah.
you think towards summer.
I get too hot in summer.
Oh, I know.
It's too much.
I'm warm all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, or autumn like with because you can choose lovely tones. and
Yeah, that's
colours.
nice colour
Oh.
palette.
Yeah.
I love summer. Sorry for summer because I feel like you can get away with dressing a bit fancier.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
Like in
Yeah.
the street, you just see people a little bit more dressed up.
Yeah.
Like, and also people in general, like non-sewing people as well, just wear prints more, which I love.
Yeah.
And then
Agree.
that inspires me to like, oh, I'll make
Yeah.
a dress for this and a dress for that. But yeah, I feel like in autumn and winter, I just want to be cozy and comfortable. Whereas in summer, I'm like, I'm going to a cocktail party, even though I'm just going down the road to
I
my
agree.
park.
Exactly.
But it feels more
Yeah.
special.
Your first ever make and your favourite ever make. So I mentioned my first make before, which was a simplicity. It was sort of like a faux wrap dress, collar that folded back, and a
nice.
poofy skirt.
Ooh.
That's the first
lovely.
clothing
That's
make.
quite
That's like
vintage.
gathered. A little bit vintage. I think I was one of those classic people that when they start sewing, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, I can wear those vintage styles."
yeah.
Because there's sewing patterns for
Yes.
them, but they're not in the shop. So I went heavy down that
Yes.
route at the start of my sewing journey, and I still do the odd bit here and there. I'm not quite the same as anymore. But my favourite ever make is something I've still only worn once, but I love it so much. I just don't have the opportunity, which is the Ravello I made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Releases for
Universe.
Yeah, so it's like galaxy
Yeah.
fabric, maxi. It's
Stunning.
glam.
It is
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's
But
really
also, because Ravello's quite a sort of understated pattern, so it's not like bells and whistles everywhere. It's like let the fabric do the talking.
Like you could
Swish
wear
into the
it.
room.
nice. Yeah.
You could wear it not necessarily just at a 40th. I think you could go out on a night out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I just need the occasion.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Let's go a party for the dress. Beautiful.
My first, well, it would be the one I think like adult clothing would be from my sew over it class.
yeah.
So it would have been the
Yes.
circle skirt
Oh.
and a shift dress.
That's cute.
That was nice. My favourite make.
This is hard.
I think it might be this dress. I think this has got the most different elements in it that I've done, and it feels like the biggest sort of thing that I've made, just because it
Yay.
is a full length dress.
Yes.
And it's got ruffles, and it's got like cuffs, and it's got a yoke.
yeah, the
So
yoke.
it's
I
got
forget the yoke.
It's got
yeah,
like
it's got a lot of little
Yeah.
bits in, and I feel like actually no, maybe what's my Martha dress I was wearing?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's really nice.
And that was talking earlier. It's like I did a twirl of that, and I remember coming into the office and be like, putting it on, Rosie. I just need to just take a little bit of this out here. What do I need to do? And I like
You took the time
I
for
took the
that,
time.
yeah.
I feel like
to
you
get the
that
bodice.
make unlocked something
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
big time. Like
Right.
fit wise, you're like
Yeah, so that could be my favourite.
yeah, and very wearable because it's just like a plain.
Yeah, I
right?
just did it in plain, so I might make another one of those in a jersey
Pattern.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
My first ever make, I was telling these guys this morning, it was like a t-shirt. I don't know, I've no idea what the pattern was. It wasn't so over, I really don't know. It was a t-shirt, but for some reason I decided to make it in like a viscose. Maybe I just had it. Maybe I didn't really know. I'm sure the pattern
Well, you
didn't
don't
call
really
for
know
that.
as a non-sewer.
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't
think
think about
knit or
that.
woven as a thing at all.
Yeah.
So honestly, let me tell you, it was shocking. Like it was like I just used like a white thread, like it was like a green top, and the neckband had all pleats. it was truly a disaster, but I was so chuffed with myself. I was so pleased. And sometimes now I've kept it and I get it out and I just laugh at it because it's just like it's just so.
That's my favourite.
It's just so bad, but like it's really actually nice to have a reminder of how far I've come.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I make things, I'm like, oh my god, that bit of top stitching was a bit wobbly, and then I get the top out and I'm like, it's okay. We've moved forward.
That is such a good idea.
Maybe I'll bring it in. It's like an emotional support top.
It's like, oh, I did that wrong. Not as wrong as that.
It's so funny. I don't think I ever wore it again. It was in the middle of COVID, so if I did it, thank God, just around the house or something. But funny. Yeah. My favourite make is my Amelia jacket.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, I started making lots of little bags, cushions, like small things, and then I remember, but I don't have any proof, so I can't remember what it was, but I remember following some YouTube videos to copy your clothes. And that didn't go very well. Again, because it was like, it's hard when you know nothing of fabrics as well. So I would copy things in the wrong style of fabric. But what I found on my Instagram, this is why I love posting my makes on Instagram, because it's my album and catalogue and wardrobe planner, because I've got it all there. And the first dressmaking thing for myself was completely nuts. It was a McCall's pattern, and it was a costume for a show that I was doing, and it was floor length, cowl back, jersey, bronze, and completely mad. And it looks good, I think, because it was jersey and dark, and you can't see any stitching, and it fitted really well because it was jersey. It was a disaster on the inside. I remember being incredibly proud wearing it on stage, and having made my costume, because that's what I wanted to do. Like at the start, I was like, I want to make fun clothes for me to wear, but also costumes. It's just on the inside. It had to be lined, but I didn't have enough fabric to line it, so there's like an old t-shirt inside. It's disgusting. And a fun memory of that dress is that I auditioned for the Sewing Bee a few years later, and I brought it with me because they ask you to bring a few makes, and I brought it, and this is how naive I was. Like, I thought, this is so cool to show them. No, to show them how the progression. It was like my t-shirt. I brought that, and I brought something I'd made recently, and I was like, this I knew nothing, but still I made a wearable dress, and now look, I've made a shirt, and it looks nice. They just hated it. I was really upset.
I see the thought process.
The thought process was like, I've only been sewing for 2 years, and this is where I started, this is where I'm now. Anyway, they did not appreciate it, but I still have that dress. Probably never wear it again unless there's an Oscars themed party again, Lisa. But it made me incredibly proud, and because it was a costume, I really didn't care that it looked weird inside. Because the whole point was to look good from the outside, and it did. So very happy. And favourite make is an impossible choice, but I'm gonna go with a recent, and it is my Barbie dress, which I loved making.
And the fit
is just right. The pattern I used is from Vintage Dreaming again. I'm vintage theme today. It's the Miriam bodice with the Marilyn skirt, and it's a pink and white gingham dress that I saw in the Barbie movie trailer when it came out many months ago, and I was like, I'm making that. And I've worn it so much this summer, honestly, so many times, which made me so happy, because at the time it felt like just a whim, like, I'm just going to make this because I want to make the Barbie dress. And then I've worn it loads. So there we go.
Amazing. Okay. So we've got a couple left. When you're sewing, are there certain things you like to watch or listen to? Or do you do it in stony silence?
No. Oh God, no, I couldn't.
And focus only on the machine.
I could not. Do you want to start?
My absolute guilty pleasure is trash reality TV. I love it. So things like Married at First Sight, Love is Blind.
Yes.
The Ultimatum, that one is
haven't watched
awful.
What's the Ultimatum?
Oh, is that the one where they have to get married or...
And they either
break
up or get married, but
so
they force
healthy.
people into these situations where there's so much temptation, and it's sort of like, why would you put yourself there?
I want to watch
Great.
You sold it.
You two got me into Love Island a little bit.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still not fully in, but that's sort of trash that you don't need to concentrate on, because obviously I
Yeah.
want to
Yes.
concentrate on the
That's the
sewing.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, you don't
But-
need to be watching it all, do you?
No, exactly.
And a
You
lot of
can
them
dip
do
in
really
and
good recaps constantly.
out. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you miss it, you'll find out 10 minutes later because they'll repeat it all.
Perfect.
But that is my favourite background noise for sewing. I'm ashamed of it. I love
No,
it.
don't be.
It's great.
I love it.
I'm because I've got quite young kids. I don't get sort of big chunks of
Fair.
time to do my sewing. So usually I'm like, "Come on, kids, you want to watch this? Come on, let's all sit."
Look at this.
Let's all- So yeah, I'll be listening to the lovely, relaxing Netflix Gabby's
Paw
Doll's
Patrol.
House, Paw Patrol. My son's into Harry Potter at the
Oh,
moment.
that's a good one.
Any of the Lego movies, Puss
Yes.
in Boots is on quite a
Oh,
lot. That's
okay.
a good one.
Well, these are all good, Fireball. You know, you're not stuck with,
Yeah.
I don't know, Peppa Pig.
And yeah, I was actually sewing in silence yesterday.
No!
So I'd put them to bed, and I just wanted to just get this little bit done. And so I went downstairs, and I really didn't want to wake them up.
Fair.
So I just silently, gently,
Oh, you're so nice.
just a little light. Oh, done, secret away. Yeah. But yeah, that's me.
I'm very similar to Rosie. Any reality TV that you don't need to focus on, or something that I've watched that many times
Same.
before, like I've watched Gilmore Girls about 40
Yes.
times, so that's an easy thing to put on. I do quite like a podcast as well
Yes.
when I'm sewing. Yeah, just yeah. Nothing revolutionary.
I like a podcast. My problem with podcasts is that it's just one episode. So my main requirement for sewing is something that has tons of
loads.
episodes.
Oh.
Yes.
So I'll watch in one session, one sewing day at a weekend, I'll watch a whole season of Love is Blind, for example.
Yeah, definitely.
But if I don't have a new series, then I need a series that has been going on forever. So at the moment, I'm on Brothers and Sisters, which I'd forgotten
Oh my
all
God,
about.
yes.
I'd watched
know
some
that.
of it back when it came out, God knows when. It has Ally McBeal in it, Callista
Yes.
Flockhart, and lots of other. Sally Fields is the mum. It's just a family drama, and they have so much drama. And there are so many seasons that's my go-to at the moment. But so yeah, my requirement is not so much good.
It's quantity.
Yeah.
Quantity,
Yeah.
and again, not something I really want to watch
Yeah.
and
Yes.
follow because you're not focusing on that. So, yeah, trash TV, but it will usually be just one session because there's not enough
Yeah.
episodes. Otherwise,
That's
I revert to Gilmore Girls, Friends, Sex and the City, stuff I've watched a million times. I don't need
Yeah.
to pay attention.
You don't need to
Um,
pause it while you overlook.
No, exactly. Can you imagine? It's like,
That
what did
is
they say?
Yeah.
No, it needs to be a little bit kind of middling.
Basically, yeah.
It can't be terrible though. It can't,
That's very
the
true.
reality TV is great because it's exciting. It can't be a bad drama
Can't be
because
boring.
then I
You
get
just don't
like
take it
annoyed.
at all.
Well, no, I get annoyed at how bad it is. I'm like, no one speaks like that. What are you doing? What are you saying? So it needs
We
to
channel
be
it into your sewing.
exactly. So it needs to be a certain level of okay,
Okay.
not too exciting, not too bad. Yeah.
There you go.
We got one last
One more?
question,
Okay.
which is mainly a precursor to me forcing you all to go out at some point.
Hey! Yeah, we've been talking about it.
Against our real life.
We've been talking about it, so we've written night out for a long
We
time. We
have,
have
yes,
to.
yeah,
Just always so
definitely.
busy.
I know.
Now the show is coming. So
The show is
hopefully-
coming. We might need to blow off some steam after
Yeah.
the show
Yeah.
and relax. And if we did happen to come across a karaoke bar
Oh.
Accidentally and fell into it.
and fell into it, oh my god! What song would you be
I
singing?
love it.
I've got one.
Yeah, straight away.
And yeah, not that I don't know if my friends will watch this, and I never actually into sewing, but I've been known to not just at karaoke places, but also in my own home at like parties, just stop everyone, turn the
Yeah.
music off, and come out singing to Sia Chandelier.
That's a big
Crazy
song.
one.
And I'm also like, I want to put my wedding dress on. Because I get
For
into
the
the dancing.
performance.
Yeah, and I do our performance.
Well.
And loved them. They watched,
Wow.
they applauded.
That's wonderful.
Who says that you can't wear your wedding dress? Mum?
Exactly. That's wonderful.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Can't wait. Can you pack your wedding dress for us?
Yeah.
Just in
I
case.
don't know if I'd be able to
It'll fit into a bow bag, right?
Roll it up.
Wow.
Whoa, that's a big
exciting.
song.
That's
Yeah.
so hard.
Drama.
Yeah.
Well, you would not find me singing karaoke.
No,
No,
at
it's
all.
not. No,
Karaoke
I
person.
do not like
No.
karaoke. It's not my thing. But if I were forced, if my boss told me that I had to sing karaoke,
Or else.
yeah, or I'd lose my job, it would probably be something ABBA.
Yes.
Yes,
Great
great
choice.
Don't know what
Also,
this is
like
great
ABBA, I
choice.
reckon you get a lot of audience participation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So other
So,
people
like,
get involved.
big
exactly.
deal, yeah.
So I don't have to sing like one line on
Yeah.
my
Well,
own.
there's
and,
4 of us, there was 4 ABBA people.
You could do an ABBA themed karaoke night, so you have to sing every song. It's a trick. I love to sing. I do not love karaoke necessarily because it's different. You can't always find the song you want and things like that.
It's not good enough for you.
No, basically all I want to sing is musicals, and they don't often have
Yes.
musicals.
Do they not have musicals?
That's what we need
We
to
should
find.
find a musical themed. That would be
See,
fun.
Jemima's in there.
Jemima's
Yeah, I've changed my mind.
It's just like
Surely, I
that's
feel like
what
that would be a
I love.
perfect.
I mean, they do it in New York. I went to a piano bar where the guy just let's go to New York, isn't there? I went to a teeny tiny bar in the village where this guy knew every song from every classic, and you just went, "Can you play this from Les Mis?" And everyone sings along. That is my dream karaoke.
Yes, yeah.
Pop songs are harder. One song I do think I love to sing is Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh,
But it's so hard. It's
So
like
hard.
it's so high and like involved.
But we don't have to think about that when it's karaoke.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yes.
I know.
Just go with it.
But it's like I just you start it thinking this is gonna be great, and then it gets out of control. But I enjoy that like people around can go turn around.
Yeah.
And then you go with your, so that is what I enjoy. And I think it's because it's very theatrical, so I
Yeah,
think it
that's
fits
true.
into, it could be a song from a musical really.
Yeah.
Probably
Good.
is in some musical. I don't know. That's
I thought I had one, but that's almost made me change my mind. So maybe I'll have 2.
Okay.
nice.
So my original thought is I usually think, what do I like singing along in the car?
Yes,
to,
yes,
which I do daily.
yes.
Which is some Shania Twain.
Yes!
That don't
love
impress me.
Shania, yes!
I love her. There are some of her lesser known songs that I love more. But I thought for karaoke you need a
Do
hit.
you like the new one?
I've never
Hey,
seen
giddy,
Oh, yes.
It's about a horse.
Sorry,
I think.
Shania's
It's great.
still releasing music.
Oh, Shania's
yes.
back.
Shania's on.
She's
Shania's
touring
great.
and everything. I love her.
I love her.
But also, you just made me think of Kate Bush.
Oh, yes.
I mean, impossible to
Yeah.
sing, but really
I
fun to
know.
try.
Exactly.
We
So
can
She's
dance
fun.
for you
Yeah.
behind.
exactly.
The
So
bush
some-
is doable, maybe.
I went to a festival dressed as her. Yeah, I think because I just wanted a fringe. I've always wanted a fringe.
You could just have a fringe.
No, no. I've tried it and it doesn't work. Yeah.
No. But so you dressed as her in like
Yeah, what did you wear?
video?
It was the red outfit with the red
Nice.
flower.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I had like a skirt. I just did that all the time.
Cool. Well, you can wear that, and Rosie will sing,
Yes.
and we can just be background singers.
Yeah.
This sounds fun.
Wow.
Fabulous. Well, if you
Is that
stayed this long,
You know everything about us now.
yes, I don't think any of us expected this video to be this
No.
long.
Sorry.
Turns out we can chat.
Yes, that is also something else you found out about us. But we are going to be at the Knitting and Stitching show in Alexandra Palace.
To the 8th of
Yeah,
October,
to
I
the
want to
8th,
say.
yeah, the Thursday to the
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
There's usually only 3 of us there a day, so we'll all rotate, but we'll all be there at some point, and
Do come
Lisa
and
is
say
going to
hello.
pop along
Yes, she
as well.
is. Yes.
On one of the weekend days, but I don't know which one yet. But yeah, please do come along. If you have any stories that link in with our stories or not at
let
all,
us
then please
know.
come and tell us. We would love to hear them. And if you're not coming to the show, maybe write them underneath.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
karaoke song? What's your
Yes.
sewing story?
Yeah.
Do you
favourite
have a
lyric?
combined karaoke sewing story? That would be the dream.
God.
Someone must have made something,
Something
for
to wear
karaoke.
for
Karaoke.
Because we'd love to get to know you guys
Yes.
as well as you getting to know us. But I hope that's introduced you a little bit more to
Who we are.
who we
The
are.
new
And what we do. I feel like we
team.
really went from.
We really
Well, we
did.
went through everything.
Yeah.
Well, someone suggested another question about food. I'm glad that didn't make it.
I know. Had to limit the list. a little
Limit the
bit.
list. We can do a random video about about bits and bobs.
Yeah,
at
if you
some
have any
point.
more questions.
Yeah, what would you like to
Send
know?
them through. But yeah, I think it's a fun one. It was
Yeah,
a very
it was
fun
really
one
nice.
to film. Hopefully, it's fun to watch.
Yes. Yeah.
It'd be perfect for a sewing session. There's like
This
2
is
hours
true.
of talking.
And to go alongside this video, you could probably make our next pattern.
That's so true.
Wow.
I love it.
But yeah, we'll see you next time. We've got a new pattern coming out
Yes.
at the Knit and Stitch show, which will be out into the general world the
A little bit
following
later.
week.
Yes.
We've got exciting things. We've got a collaboration with Lisa's company, Jazzy Rose
Yes.
Flowers, coming. We've got more Stitch School stuff. We've got endless things, really.
So much.
And I'm obviously going to be forcing these guys onto a night out with me as well.
Yay.
So maybe see you out there.
Bye.